Lesson 6, using the periodic table to construct a model of the atom. The nucleus contains the protons and the neutrons. We work out the number of protons from the number in the periodic table, the atomic number. So hydrogen has atomic number 1, so 1 proton. Sodium has atomic number 11, so 11 protons, and so on. We work out the number of electrons again from the periodic table, but also work out the shell, or the number of levels there are in the atom based on its period. So period 1 will have 1 shell, we can see here. Period 2 elements will have 2 shells of electrons, these circles here, and period 3 will have 3 shells of electrons. The shells fill up in the order of the number of elements in each period. So period 1 has got 2 elements, hydrogen and helium. So the ring or shell 1 will have a maximum of 2 electrons. So we'll have 1 electron on here and 1 electron down here. We traditionally draw them opposite sides. So helium will have 2 electrons. When we go to period 2, the first element in period 2 is lithium. That has 3 electrons because it has atomic number 3. So here's your nucleus with the protons and the neutrons. So first 2 electrons fill up in the first shell. So 1 there, 1 there, that's 2 electrons. Then the second shell will have the third electron because you can only have 2 electrons maximum in shell 1. If we went to period 3, and for example in period 3 we've got sodium, which has 11 electrons. First 2 electrons again go into shell 1, so that takes care of 2 electrons. Shell 2 fills up with 8 electrons, so that would have 8 electrons. So 2 plus 8 is 10 electrons. So we need 11 electrons in total. So we need the third shell because it's in period 3, so 3 shells, and the 11th electron would go in the third shell. In general, the period tells us the number of shells that you need to draw. So period 2 will be 2 shells. The group number tells you the number of electrons on the outer shell. So group 1 will have 1 electron only on the outer shell. The other shells will be complete. Group 2 will have 2 electrons on the outer shell. Group 3 will have 3 electrons on the outer shell, and so on. So you can use your periodic table to work out exactly how to draw an atom. The group number tells you the number of electrons on the outer shell, and the period number tells you the number of shells. The shells must fill up from the inside out, so the inside shells must always be full. So if you have period 3, shell 1 and shell 2 will be full. Shell 1, maximum of 2. Shell 2, maximum of 8. So shell 1 will have 2 electrons. Shell 2 will have 8 electrons, and then shell 3, if it's period 3, will have whatever the group number is. So the example we could pick would be magnesium, which is in group 2, period 3. So magnesium will have 3 shells. First shell full with 2 electrons. Second shell full with 8 electrons. Third shell, because it's in group 2, will have 2 electrons on that outer shell. So that would fill up in your drawing as 2 electrons, 2, 8, and then 2 on the outer shell.